Vivian Leigh is known as the ultimate Southern belle, but she was actually born in India to an Irish mother and a Scottish father. It was also rumored that she might have been part Armenian or part Indian. She famously beat out hundreds for the role of Scarlett O'Hara in Gone with the Wind, and director George Cukor praised her for her incredible wildness. While filming, she worked 16 hours a day, 6 days a week for 125 days. She was paid less than a quarter of what Clark Gable made. During filming, signs of bipolar disorder began to show. She said it was love at first sight when she met Laurence Olivier in 1936. Both were married, so their relationship started out as a secret affair. By the 1950s, her mental health had declined and she started having screaming outbursts. She reportedly tried to jump out of a plane and was later flown to a psychiatric hospital in England. She died in 1967 at age 53 from a recurrence of tuberculosis. Vivian Leigh might be the best example of manifestation and self-determination in old Hollywood. From the moment Gone with the Wind was announced, almost every actress wanted the opportunity to audition for Scarlet. Vivian Leigh was a little-known actress in 1937, starring in a play on the West End. She gave everyone a signed copy of Gone with the Wind on opening night and asked if they agreed she'd be perfect for Scarlet. Her agents had serious doubts that a British actress would be considered for the role of a Southern belle. Members of producer David O. Selznick's team had seen footage of her and said they weren't convinced she was a great fit. But when a journalist suggested that Laurence Olivier could play Rhett Butler, Vivian said, "Larry won't play Rhett, but I shall play Scarlett O'Hara. Wait and see." Taking matters into her own hands, she had her friend Angus McBean photograph her, saying, "I'm going to play Scarlett O'Hara if it's the last thing I do." She gave him one of the photographs and signed it "With love from Scarlett O'Hara." Friends said she was extremely determined and just smiled when anyone doubted her. One of these photos was sent to Selznick's brother Myron, who was an agent in Hollywood, and he planned for her trip to Los Angeles. While casting was still taking place, they had begun production on the burning of Atlanta scenes by torching old studio sets they covered with facades. Dressed in a simple silk dress and very little makeup, she was taken to the set to meet the producer and director. Reportedly, Myron yelled to his brother, "Hey genius, meet your Scarlett O'Hara," as her face was lit by the flames of a falling beam. Her appearance on set made the men forget all their doubts, and immediately she was taken back to an office to run scenes late into the night. Vivian had been so obsessed with the book that she was fully prepared. She knew the character inside and out when her chance arrived. Joining Jean Arthur, Joan Bennett, and Paulette Goddard as potential Scarlets, Vivian became the fourth and least known actress to enter the race at the last minute. After just 1 week of preparations, she was screen tested in costume. On Christmas Day 1938, Vivian achieved what so many considered impossible and was offered the role of Scarlett O'Hara by George Cukor.
Here's some random facts about Vivian Leigh. She first met Laurence Olivier in a play called The Mask of Virtue, and when she saw him, she told her friend, "That's the man I'm going to marry." Her and Olivier were both married at the time, but it didn't stop them from starting an affair. The affair had first started when Olivier had gotten off the stage and Vivian had snuck into his dressing room, introduced herself, and kissed him on the back of the neck before leaving. While the two had tried to divorce their partners, they both continued their affair. And in some surviving love letters, Olivier calls Vivian very naughty and describes how he woke up with a raging desire for her, and in one passage he even reveals how he wore her undergarments. And when Laurence was cast in Wuthering Heights, she had wanted to play opposite of him as Kathy. However, director William Wyler had offered her the supporting role of Isabella instead. But Vivian said, "I'll play Kathy or I'll play nothing." And Wyler had said that he thought she was crazy and that for her first role in Hollywood, she would get nothing better than Isabella. But she had sure showed him as she became Scarlett O'Hara. Speaking of Gone with the Wind, she had worked 16 hours a day, 6 days a week, for 125 days. And in all the candids on set, she's visibly exhausted, and apparently to deal with the stress, she had smoked 4 packs of cigarettes a day. Vivian was paid $25,000, while Clark Gable, who worked 71 days, was paid $120,000. During the filming of Caesar and Cleopatra, Vivian had discovered she was pregnant with Laurence Olivier's child. One day they were filming a scene on a polished floor, and she had slipped and fell, causing a miscarriage. As a result, she became deeply depressed and had a mental breakdown, and these were the first signs that would later be diagnosed as bipolar disorder for her. She had received her second Oscar playing Blanche from A Streetcar Named Desire, but playing a character with such a fragile psyche proved to be very difficult for her. And as Vivian put it, she said, "She's a tragic figure and I understand her, but playing her tipped me into madness." She had a final mental break during filming Elephant Walk, where she became very paranoid on set and started to hallucinate. She was sent back to LA and was hospitalized and was given electroshock therapy, which was considered treatment at the time, and Elizabeth Taylor went on to replace her in the movie. As her illness progressed, she also had several extramarital affairs, including one with Peter Finch. This, along with her illness, led to the breakdown of her marriage. The Oliviers then divorced in 1960 after 20 years of marriage. And in 1961, Vivian had told screenwriter Terence Rattigan about how she almost ran away with Peter Finch. Vivian and Peter were waiting in the VIP lounge at Heathrow Airport, waiting for the fog to lift so that they could fly away. While waiting, Vivian had decided to stay with Laurence Olivier. And inspired by the story, Rattigan actually wrote The VIPs, starring Richard Burton and Elizabeth Taylor.
Vivian Leigh was born in 1913 to an artistic family in Darjeeling, West Bengal, British India. Her father was a British officer in India with a passion for theatre, while her mother claimed to be of Irish descent and had a mysterious background. From an early age, Vivian Leigh showed a keen interest and talent for the arts. At the age of 3, she began her acting career by performing children's songs in her mother's amateur theatre troupe, and at the age of 7, she was sent to Sacred Heart Convent boarding school in London, England, where she not only learned to play the piano and the violin, but also cultivated a deep literary literacy, laying a solid foundation for her future acting career. In 1935, she made her screen debut in Euphoria, and then won the 12th Academy Award for Best Actress in 1940 for her role as Starlet in Gone with the Wind, making her the first British actress to win the award. In the same year, she also starred in the classic romance film, The Blue Bridge, which was then shortlisted for Best Black and White Film at the 13th Academy Awards. However, her career success did not fully compensate for her emotional ups and downs. She went through 3 marriages, each one full of twists and turns and regrets. Her first marriage was to the much older Holman, which lasted 8 years and ended in divorce. She then married fellow actor Laurence Olivier, a marriage that had a profound impact on her career, but which gradually fell apart due to the busyness of both careers and health concerns. In 1951, Vivian Leigh won another Academy Award for Best Actress for her performance in A Streetcar Named Desire, as well as Best Actress awards at the Venice International Film Festival and the New York Film Critics Circle Awards. Thereafter, she continued to be active on stage and screen until her death from tuberculosis in London, England in 1967, at the age of 54. Vivian Leigh's life was legendary and short. She conquered the hearts of countless audiences with her stunning beauty and exceptional acting skills, becoming one of the iconic figures of Hollywood's golden age. Her life was full of challenges and difficulties, but her persistent pursuit of art and tireless efforts will be forever etched in movie history.
Vivian Leigh, born in India in 1913, captivated audiences with her extraordinary talent and striking beauty. Her portrayal of Scarlett O'Hara in Gone with the Wind etched her name in Hollywood history, earning her an Academy Award. Leigh's magnetic screen presence and refined acting skills shone brightly in other classics like A Streetcar Named Desire, for which she won another Oscar. Her off-screen life, marked by her tumultuous relationship with Laurence Olivier and her struggles with mental health, mirrored the intensity of her on-screen roles. Despite these challenges, Leigh's career spanned both film and stage, showcasing her versatility as an actress. Vivian Leigh's legacy endures as a symbol of elegance, resilience, and the golden era of Hollywood. Don't forget to check out the full-length version linked at the bottom of this page.
Vivian Leigh was born on November 5, 1913 in India. Her birth name was Vivian Mary Hartley. She's known for being an actress. She appeared in many plays and movies, including 2 iconic movie roles. The first one is when she played Scarlett O'Hara in the epic movie Gone with the Wind, released in 1939. It's widely considered one of the best movies ever. She won an Academy Award for her performance. The movie ended up with 10 Academy Awards. Her second biggest role was in A Streetcar Named Desire, released in 1951. She said that role tipped me into madness. She won another Academy Award. She spent her first 6 years in India because her British parents worked there, and they were avoiding World War I. She married her first husband in 1931 and used his middle name for her new last name. She married famous actor Laurence Olivier in 1940. They stayed together for 20 years despite many ups and downs. She had 1 child. She had 2 miscarriages. She suffered from bipolar disorder. In 1944, she was diagnosed with tuberculosis. She died from the disease in 1967. She was 53 years old.